So I'm back out here with the Grand Prix, and as you can see, this engine bay is filthy. It's full of spider webs and dirt and anything and everything else that made its way in there over the last 5 years that it was sitting. So I'm gonna go grab my air compressor, I'm gonna blow all this out, and try to get it a little bit more manageable to work on before I start digging in here to replace that thermostat. So I've got the intake out of the way. Next problem that I've got is that this tube here is in the way as well. Now that I've got this hose out of the way, I'm gonna go ahead and see what I can do about removing this throttle body to give me a little bit more room to get at what I need to. And that gave me good access to take off the pipe so that I could get the thermostat out. Now, this old thermostat has been sitting here for quite a while and it hasn't had any coolant in it, so I'm not exactly sure I wanna trust my engine to it. So we're gonna get rid of this, we're gonna put in the new one, and we will put everything back together and see how she runs. We're gonna go ahead and test the old and new thermostats. I have the old one here, and as you can see, it doesn't look real great, but we'll just go ahead and drop that in there. And I have the new one right here, and we'll put that in there too, and we'll just give them just a minute. And what we should see is the new ones start to open up after just a little bit. These have been boiling for just a minute or two now, and let me see if I can get a good shot of it. So interestingly enough, our one that we were thinking was bad has opened up. So that's a little concerning. And the brand new one has also opened up, and it looks like we have a lot more of a gap. Oh, and I lost the shot. And there it closed just now. So we're gonna go ahead and put this new one in and run it and see how we do. We've got our seal back on this, and that just goes right in here, right in that groove there. Okay, now let's see if we can get this back in here. So the trick is you have to start the bottom thread, put the thermostat in, and then sort of finesse the tube past all of that and hook it on that bottom thread before you put the top thread in. If you don't do it in that order, as I've found out the hard way, you're gonna have a bad time. So now that we've got this back together, we're going to be filling up this radiator and putting a radiator cap on. Now, what I'm about to do is not best practice. I'm on a well and I'm gonna use my water hose to top off this radiator. We're gonna take it around the block and I'm going to drain it. Basically just to flush whatever is built up in the system out so that we know that whenever we do put antifreeze in, we're putting it into a clean system that's not full of dirt and rust and whatever other debris may have gotten in here after 5 years of sitting. So now we've got a passable, at least temporary battery solution in place. I didn't have any side post terminals and none of my other vehicles have one, so I'll probably convert this to a top post, seeing as there's room to fit one. Not sure why they went with that to begin with. But we're gonna go ahead and see if we can get this vehicle started, and we will go ahead and top off the radiator, see how it does temperature-wise, make sure we're not blowing any clouds out of the exhaust, and just kind of get an idea of what we're working with. All right, let's see if she'll start. Perfect. How's the temperature doing? Okay. Okay, a little bit of exhaust smoke, but I think we're okay. I think that may just be some of the old gas burning off. Okay, go ahead and kill it. All right. I already checked the weather. It's not supposed to get down to freezing tonight, so I'm gonna go ahead and cap that. We're gonna give it a spin around the block real fast just to kind of see how it does. And go ahead and start her up. Give it just a second.
Oil change soon.
Yeah.
I should hope so.
There is oil in here. This stupid mirror. I'll be curious to see if the temperature moves at all. Yeah, the temperature's coming up a little bit. Looking out back, I don't see us blowing any clouds, which is really good news. How are the brakes? Suppose we should have checked that before we drove around the block. Brakes seem to work.
They will in fact stop the car.
Whew, that's a relief. I've dealt with that before. That thermostat doesn't open until 195, so we really aren't up to operating temperature yet. So there's a little bit of smell when I got out of the vehicle, but I think that may just be the old gas burning off, so we're not gonna worry about that for the moment. I'm gonna pop in here real quick. Just make sure nothing silly has happened. Our sketchy connectors are still in place. I don't see water blowing everywhere. I don't see those drips earlier, so I think we're okay on that front. Now, we're not even hot yet. Let me divert my face anyway. Yeah, a little bit of pressure buildup, but nothing crazy. So we're still good on coolant, which admittedly is just water right now. So we'll take it around the block a couple more times and let's see how she does. Sounds a little weird to me.
It does. Did you trap a soul underneath the engine?
I'm not sure if there's a soul trapped in the engine. No, that's not the engine. Look, I just revved it in neutral and it didn't happen. Didn't actually check to see if we had air in these tires.
It's probably something.
Probably should check the air in these tires. So we couldn't find a tire sticker on this that tells us how much it's supposed to have. So I'm gonna go off of pretty similar to what some of our other cars are. Now this is a 4-door, so I expect it'll be a little heavier. I'm gonna go ahead and try to set all these to 32, and we'll see if that makes any difference in that road noise that we're having. But these tires are pretty ragged, so that's not terribly surprising. And it actually looks like we may need new struts as well. Those are, admittedly, they're almost 20 years old. There's 32. It was in the 20s, so that's not too bad.
But tire pressure is something you should check before you drive your car?
It is. I also shouldn't be running, water from a water hose in the radiator. Oh, this one's at 8 pounds. So that might make a difference.
Just watch the car. The entire
the
back
car
of the
just
car
got a little
lift up.
taller. Okay, well it feels a lot less sloppy. What do you think?
Yeah.
Riding a little tighter.
Right.
So the air conditioner even works in this car after sitting for 5 years. Like, that's awesome. I love it.